Hello and welcome back to Here We Tow. So today I'm going to be reviewing this. It's a VW campervan. It's from CampAway and they're sold by Broadlane Leisure based in Warwickshire. They're a family business that have been established over 50 years and we have been allowed to film content with them before. So we're really grateful to have been given the opportunity to spend 3 nights in this CampAway. Our first time campervanning experience. If you've seen the vlog before this one, that is of that first experience, so you'll find out exactly how we did or didn't get on. So what I'm going to do in this review though is just show you around it. Now, as you'll know, I am no expert on campervans. I'm quite happy to hold my hand up to that one. I've learned a lot this last 24 hours with this camper, but hopefully we can have a look around together. I'll show you the important points that I've learned and discovered from the camper and hopefully just give you a bit of an insight. So here we go. This is the VW CampAway. So first of all, it is on the VW Transporter, which is a van. Now, engine size, generally these will have a 2-litre diesel engine and there is a variety of brake horsepowers. Many of them I've noticed are around 110 brake horsepower. This vehicle does have a diesel engine and it also takes AdBlue. I'll show you that as we go around the near side. So starting at the front, now this one from CampAway is orange, if you hadn't noticed. It is really quite bright. I love it. If you're not quite so excited with this sort of colour and you're a little bit more sedate, then you can have this in a variety of colours. I'm going to put links to the websites in the description below so you can see the full colours that are available. With the CampAway, we've got the pop top. Now, I've put that up for the purpose of the review, so we'll see that when we go inside. So we've got the pop top, which is easily operated. I've operated that myself, very easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work my way down the offside first of all of the CampAway and show you the controls within the cab. So let's venture into the cab. So if I open up the driver's door, so we've got the driver's seat, we've got a really nice leather fabric. This chair does not swivel on this model. Now there are different layouts available on the CampAway, so again it might be that this layout isn't for you but others are. Now I have driven this and it drives very nicely. Although it is a van, it is very car-like. They've certainly come on a lot. We've obviously got power assisted steering, we've got multifunctional controls on the steering wheel. This model does have a stereo, but it doesn't have a sat-nav. You can get different specs with satellite navigation. It also doesn't have a reversing camera, but it does have reversing sensors. It's a dial and digital display, so it will show you different information available on it. Now, this particular camper, it's about 2.5 to 3 years old, and it's currently got just over 20,000 miles. I've been really surprised at what good condition this vehicle's in. I think it says a lot about the build quality of the CampAway, and we'll see that more when we go inside. I've been very impressed at the solid build. What we're going to get in here is we're going to get a heated front windscreen, we're going to get air conditioning in the cab, we've got electric windows, and we've also got heated and electrically operated wing mirrors. So in terms of the actual cab experience, it is very nice. It feels car-like. This is a manual, a 5-speed manual, but you can get these in automatic if you prefer. So that's the cab space. Let's now carry on down the offside. So let's have a look at the exterior. Obviously, as I say, the paintwork is orange on this one, but we've got the black decals of CampAway. This model's been quite highly spec'd. It's got these huge 20-inch black wheels. I love them. Not everyone's cup of tea, but well up for me. Now, water. Campervans. This campervan, you can fill it at the service point. You just need a hose pipe, water in here, and it's got an onboard 27-litre water tank. So it will hold 27 litres of fresh water. Coming down, I'll just start under here. So under here, we've actually got a grey waste outlet. So you will need a container to collect your grey waste water, or you could use flexi pipes if you're on a service pitch. The windows, you can see how darkly tinted these are. Now, at the moment I've got the side door open, so it's letting light in, which means we can see in a little bit better. Yesterday, when I went round the exterior, you actually really cannot see into this camper van with these dark tints. I do like that. This is a sliding window, I'll show you that inside, but I've had that open when I've been using the kettle inside to prevent condensation. You can see the side profile of the pop top here, the hydraulic strut. This side part here, that does have a mesh, so when you're inside in the canvas you can unzip it to allow fresh air and ventilation. Coming down we can see the rest of the CampAway graphics, they're absolutely fantastic. We have here our electric hookup point because the camper van does run on electric, so we hook in here and then we hook in to our bollard, and that's going to run our plug sockets and bits and pieces inside. If you're not on hookup and you're reliant on your leisure battery, we do get a solar panel on the roof of the CampAway, so in good weather that's going to keep your leisure battery topped up. Let's now venture around the back and take a look at what we're getting here. So here at the back, now there's two different types of rear tailgate that you can have, either the lifting one like we've got here, or the stable door, barn door, people call them different things. They open, two doors that open outwards. Let's say this tailgate just lifts up, and I'll just do that now just so we can see that before I continue. So when you lift open the tailgate, what you can see here, again we've got the strong hydraulics. You may be able to see some little curtains here. I'll show you those inside, but we do get some nice curtains internally. We've got some lighting here. This, you can perch on here if you want. This becomes part of the rock and roll bed, which is safety tested as well. Safety is very important on the CampAway. Again, I'll show you that inside. There's a little bit of a sill here. As you'll notice, there isn't much storage. We're losing it to this seat. We do have some storage here. Now this storage compartment actually goes all the way through and you can access that from inside as well. Again, I'll show you that. We do have a heater on board. It's a gas heater. We do have a vent for that here in this back space. We've got a little storage compartment here, and when you go in through there, we can also access it through a shutter here. Again, something for inside. And then down here is where we're going to find our small gas bottle. Obviously, you are limited on the amount of gas you're going to be able to carry on board a camper. So I'll close that up now and we'll just carry on looking at the rear of the CampAway. So, the back end, obviously we've got the transporter badge, we've got the VW badge. On this model, we've got the two-lay bike rack. This is a really good sized bike rack. It can take up to 60 kilos of bikes as well, so quite a lot of weight. We do have parking sensors, as I mentioned before, but we don't have a reversing camera. We do have a high brake light there. I must say, I've had no issue reversing this and parking it. It's only about 5 meters long. But do be careful if you have a bike rack fitted, because that's going to protrude more, so just consider that. Now the CampAway, if you're wondering about what sort of driving licence you're going to need, this vehicle is up to 3.5 tonnes, so you can drive this on your normal car licence. You just need your B category, so nothing special required for it. Now, as you can see, we've got the sliding door. It is open. I'll just close that so you can see that in action. The only thing you have to think about is on a night, if you nip out to the loo, it's quite noisy. Now, this door, not a problem to operate whatsoever. Open or closed. It's got a nice action to it. We've got another big tinted window here. So again, carrying on with the tints, you'll see we've got a Dometic canopy. So this is the wind out canopy. Coming down now, the passenger side, I'll show you this. So if I open this door, this is where we're going to find our diesel filler and the AdBlue as well that I mentioned earlier. This door does have to be open for you to be able to access this, just to point that out if you are looking at getting one of these and wonder why you can't get into it. Now, At the moment, the chairs, I have swiveled them so they're ready for me to dive in and show you the inside here. But you've got the 2 chairs there, so you can actually have 3 persons travelling in the front and 2 in the back seats here. So 5 people can travel in the CampAway. I'll close this up. So again, we can see we've got the pop top which is up, we've got the canvas as well on this side. This is the door fully open, and I'm now going to venture inside. I have left the table out for the purpose of the review. I'm going to move that about, but when that's put away, it actually secretes within the back door of the CampAway, so it has got its own special place. But I've just left it out because I think it gives you a better idea of how the CampAway is going to be used. So I'll dive in here. Now, I'm going to start first of all by talking about these seats. Now at the moment, as you can see, they're facing into the campervan. I've used this bit myself while we've been using the CampAway. This is really comfortable. I do like this leather finish. They're solid seats, but comfy overnight. They're held in place in this position by 4 of these little swivel screws. To put this back to face forward, which you must do for travelling, you unscrew those, turn it around, and they go back into the place. I have found this a little tricky, if I'm honest. That's been probably the one thing that I found difficult to operate in the CampAway by myself, is the mechanism of using this. I know some models will just have 1 seat, and I'd imagine that's probably going to be much easier. But this double one, if you're looking at a CampAway, I'd say give it a go and just see how easy you find that. It's also been interesting because obviously I'm a motorhomer and was a caravanner, but when I arrive on site in my motorhome, I just turn my chair around and bang, I am literally ready to go. To operate this, you do have to get out. So if it's bad weather, you've got to get this door open, get out and spend some time turning it around. So I found that quite interesting, the operation of this seat. Right. If you want to join me, we'll stand up first of all. So, the camper is now in what I would call its day mode. So, I've got the pop top popped, I've got the hard roof up, I've got loads of headroom. There is plenty of room, head space in this camper when it's like this. We've got 2 lights, as we can see here. So when you're using the top deck as a bed, you've got some illumination. I've wound this down so we can see out, so you've got a nice view, light coming in. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to demonstrate how I'm going to pull this part down to turn it into a bed. So what I'd suggest is, if you are going to stand on your chair, take your shoes off. That's, something I'd suggest, unless you want to mark your fabric. So I'm just going to reach up, take hold of it and pull it down. There you go. Now, I'm not very tall and I'm not very strong, but I can do that really easily. So from that perspective, if you're concerned about the operation of this pop top, don't be. It is an absolute doddle. Yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised. To close the pop top, what you would do is stand on here, reach up. Now that there are handles and there's straps. Again, it's exactly the same. You simply pull it down, and once it's down, it's not suddenly leaping out of your hands. There's no battle with this top. There are some straps that you then tie around and secure around here. You must make sure they're secure when you're driving, otherwise the wind will get under it and it will pop it. So pull it down, strap it there. I'm just going to push this back up now. This is a bed. I made this up last night with the sleeping bags, so you can see that there is room for 2 people up there. We did find it was quite a small space, especially if you were a taller or larger person. I've covered that more in the vlog prior to this one, our first campervanning experience vlog. So I talk more about that in that vlog. Right, I'll bob this back up. So excuse me a second. As you can see there, it shoots up really easily. No problem at all. Right. What we'll do is, it's strange, my first campervan experience, I'm having to work out which way I'm going to take you around the camper, but I'm going to start here. This table, as I say, this totally comes away. It's actually on a bar, which you'll see there, you can bend that leg and put it away in the back. I'm just going to move it down slightly so it's still in place. We did eat at this table last night and it was perfectly fine for the two of us. So what are we going to get? Let's start with the habitation area. So we're going to get a sink and 2 gas burners. The sink, the tap, you pull it up and obviously you turn the tap on. You push it down for when you're travelling. Not a bad sized sink at all. That waste water will come out of the waste pipe that I showed you outside, which is why you do need your container. 2 gas rings. When you're not using those, close that down and you've got a bit of extra worktop space. This window, it does open here. We looked at that outside. You can see the catch for it there, so you can slide it across. Now these little curtains, these are fantastic. My previous experience with caravans and motorhomes has literally been with blinds. And I must say, last night, these curtains, they made it very dark and they're very easy to operate. I actually like those. So curtains all the way around. That goes for the back window as well. Now, as we come round, I'll just bring this over here now. We've got a little Dometic fridge and it's got a little freezer compartment as well in there, which you can pull out. So very small fridge unit. But at the end of the day, it's absolutely better than nothing. I've just got my milk in there. But yeah, so a small Dometic fridge and small freezer compartment. If I bring the table further over now, and we'll move across. Okay, so on this model, we've actually got a Dometic microwave. Now, I know I've seen some of the campers where they have like little grills and what have you. I quite like the idea of having a microwave. I'd probably use that a lot more than I actually would a grill. So that's really good. Just open that. It's a plateless. I think these are actually a new model by Dometic. You don't need a plate, so there's no glass flying around. You just put your items on there and turn it on. Under here, we've got a little bit of storage. This is just the winder for the canopy, if you wonder what that is. I'll just put that there. So we've got a little bit of storage under the microwave. There we go. We've also obviously got some electric equipment down there. I'll just close that back up. And then coming along, we've got another little storage compartment here. So small there. Then we've got some worktop space, and this is what I mean about the build. So say this camper van's got you know, quite a bit of mileage on it. It's a few years old, and yet it's absolutely like new. There's no marks, it's not damaged, and this vehicle has been used for various purposes, but it's like absolute brand new, which I think does say a lot about how well built campers are. We've got another little cubby hole here. And then coming across, this is where we're going to find sort of the important parts. This is the controls. So if I press this, it illuminates obviously the lighting around. We can see LEDs around the camper. If I press this, we've also got additional lighting around the doorway and the near side. And then we've got our water pump here. And then these buttons are going to show you various levels. The battery on the actual camper, your leisure battery, and it shows you how much water you've got in that 27-litre tank. So that's quite handy to know. Even on a small camper like this, you're going to know how much water you have or haven't got. You'll see here we've got 2 plug sockets, and in here we've got 2 USB points. There's also another little USB socket, which I'll just show you. And that's just down here to my left-hand side. So if you're sat on this side or you're sleeping on there, you've got some USBs there too. So I like that because I like my USBs. Now, heater-wise, I mentioned the heater. Now, one thing we found last night was it was very cold in here. It is a camper van. You are in effect sleeping in a van with limited insulation. It's definitely not like a motorhome or a caravan, I will say that. So we do have the heater here. So you press the button to turn it on, and obviously on your thermometer, you can set the temperature. You can hear it's fired in now. This heater, as I say, operates on gas on this model. I'll just turn that off, otherwise it will drown me out. There are, I believe, 2 vents on the camper. There's a vent just here. I'll just move myself. There's a vent here and there's a vent in the back. So you've got heat coming into this space here. Storage again, I showed you outside that little drop down, and this is the other access point to it. I'll close that up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move that and move that. Now we've got, again, the leather. We've got these 2 seats with seat belts. We've got a roller shutter here. Now this is the other way to get into the storage. What I've noticed is, as you can see, it's not that accessible. It's very accessible when the bed is in its reclined position. Otherwise it is a little bit tricky to get to. Down the back, if you wanted to drop items down there for storage, you could, and that's probably where I'd be looking at dropping my bedding down and my clothing, because storage is limited. There's always a compromise, as I always say, and for me the biggest compromise has been storage. Travel very light. Luckily I'm like the lightest traveller you've ever seen, but you need to travel light. And then back here you can see how these side walls are carpeted. That's nice, just to soften it up, and we've got a carbon monoxide detector. Now I'm going to operate, if I can, the rock and roll bed for you. Right, wish me luck. I will admit, last night I did not involve myself in the operation of this bed. So how easy is it for someone to do? Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? So hopefully I won't get this totally wrong. If I do, I'll suddenly just cut to it in place and I haven't managed it very well. So there's a lever here. We're going to pull this lever. Yeah. So we're moving. Be really careful with your hand, because you might trap it and then it won't look good on reviews. The reason I'm pulling the seat belts is if you don't pull them out, you will trap them. So that's why I'm pulling the seat belts as well. So we're pulling, we're pulling, we're pulling. Right. I'm just going to move around, so bear with me 1 second. Okay, right. Ta-da! Well, that was the most dainty and lovely thing I've done in a long time. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. Right, so joking aside, I'm always careful with things because this isn't my camper van. I never want to damage things, but that is easy. I've done it by myself, and I'm not great at things like this. So genuinely, if you were a person by yourself who wanted to operate this, that's how easy it genuinely is to do. Equally with the pop top, that's easy as well, and I wouldn't say it was if it wasn't, because that's not my thing. So the bed is now laid out and you can see what a good size it is. We slept on this last night. It's really comfortable. It's a very good size. You can see now how you can actually get into the roller shutter as well. There's the curtains on the back there. I'm not going to climb on here with my shoes on, but the curtains you pull across. There's a curtain on this window as well, so you've got maximum privacy. What I would say is, as we learnt last night, when it's cooler weather, keep that pop top down on a night, because we got very cold. Those of you that know about camper vans will know all about this, and we made a total schoolgirl error, but we learn from our mistakes. So that's the bed. I'm just deliberating whether to demonstrate putting it back up for you or not. I haven't got a clue how to do that. Let's have a go. So you'll have to bear with me, because genuinely I collected this yesterday and I haven't done it myself yet. So let's see what we do. Let's push that handle back down. I'll pull that seat belt through there. Wow, okay, so, wow. that was really easy. Yeah, that was really, I thought that was going to be really difficult. That was really easy as well. Okay, I've shown you the main things inside. I'm going to jump back outside now. That, I'll just pull my clothes back into where they should be. That is the CampAway. It's a quick look round. It shows you basically what it has and what it does. I must say, I've had one night, my first campervanning experience. I have enjoyed it. I've learnt a lot. In 24 hours, I've learnt a lot about one of these. There were things that didn't quite go as I thought they would, things that were better than I thought they would be. At 5 metres long, the benefit of a campervan is you can get in it, drive off, park anywhere. You don't have to worry about finding a parking space, which is a bit more of a problem with a motorhome. The thing I noticed, which was the compromise, is the lack of the storage, but you've got to be realistic. It's a 5 metre van, so there's a compromise. You've got to be realistic, as I say. I've enjoyed having the experience of this campervan. I've learnt a lot from it. What I would say is, if you are thinking of purchasing a campervan or swapping from a motorhome or a caravan to a campervan, something like this, the CampAway, you can hire one. I've put a link below. It's called HireAway. They start at about £90 a night, and I really would suggest that you maybe look at hiring one first, because, as I say, it's been an invaluable experience for me. If you wanted to buy a CampAway, then they are available from Broadlane. Prices start at around £50,000 and they go up to just below, I think it is around £70,000. The price is very different because it depends on your base vehicle. This is a high spec one. It depends on the conversion that you have, and there are different layouts as well. So all those links are below to have a look. I've enjoyed this experience and I've enjoyed having a look around, and hopefully you've enjoyed me trying to operate it in some way, and hopefully I've done it justice, and maybe you'll be able to go away again. So there we go. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.